All right, good morning, guys. Quick sound check. Let me know you can hear me. Sound check 1, 2 on this beautiful Wednesday morning, October the 16th, 2019. Welcome to the Major League Trading Morning Trade Plan with Eric Marcus. That's what the title says, if you guys didn't read that. And I can hear the audio coming through. Perfect. Appreciate it. All right. Let's dive in. I want to take a look at a couple things today, and then I want to review a trade setup that actually happened last night that I gave out to members of the MLT team in gold there. So I'm going to cover the S&P's NASDAQ. Um, I'm quiet sounding for you. I should be. Volume is not touched. Should be good to go. Um, but going to cover the S&Ps here, kind of a game plan there. We've got some earnings coming up. We had some earnings get released this morning as well, which I'm going to be watching some of those here as well this morning. Bank of America, things like that. We've got Netflix coming out after the bell. Going to be looking forward to something in there. Jay dropping a Forex alert in the chat just now for those of you that are in there. Volume's okay. Oh, perfect. All right, so what I'm looking at here today in the S&Ps, we have a little bit of a difference in terms of price structure. We've got a level in place here in the S&Ps at 96.75. This is going to be kind of my line in the sand for today. Bullish above, bearish below. I think the vast majority of today's action is going to be between 29.9675s and 3005s for the S&Ps. That's kind of my game plan here. I'm thinking that we have a little bit of kind of consolidation there. The other thing I see kind of standing out here is that if we do want to go lower, if we reverse yesterday's move, I think that gets really, really interesting, and we could actually see those 29, 69, 75s here today. So again, at the open, we're gapping down a little bit, kind of under that level here, about 6 points or so right now. We had popped up right at about 8 o'clock, traded up to that level, and then so far, I've been selling off since then. That same level in the NASDAQ is going to come in at 79.4175s, which again, we're just a little bit under that level in the NASDAQ right now, as well by about 10 points. So I'm going to be conservative off the open here. I don't see, we're gapping down, 7 points in the S&Ps, 0.24%. I don't see any stellar gaps standing out to me either in terms of individual equities there. And realistically, we have a nothing day in terms of news announcements here again. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on the calendar, but really nothing that, I think kind of affects us. There's Beige Book at 2 o'clock. I don't think that's going to do anything. Federal budget balance, again, I don't think it does much. So overall in the day, we've got, fairly light in terms of, can you drag? Thank you. Fairly light in terms of news announcements here. So I think it's just going to be basic raw price action, unless we get some type of tweet or something like that, of course. So I'm thinking we may get a little bit of a push lower here in the morning, kind of shake some people out. And then from there, I think we'll start working back up into 29.9675s to 3005s. And I think that will most likely end up being kind of the range, if you will, on the day, or at least the majority of price traded there on the day. Volume's decent here this morning, 256,000 contracts in the S&Ps. So not too bad on that. NASDAQ again, level there is going to come in at 79.4175s. It's got room all the way up to 79.6775s. Overnight highs in there are 79.60 quarters. So I do think that most likely can get taken out at some point today. And those lows come in at 25.75s for the overnight session. So I'm going to be watching those overnight lows. I think we might actually see something where at the open, the NASDAQ potentially kind of spikes down through overnight lows of 79.25, 75s, and then can potentially start reversing from there and get back up through those 41.75s. And then, like I said, range bound between 41.75s and kind of 67.75s on the day. NASDAQ has Netflix earnings coming out after the bell today. That could potentially be a big mover of the NASDAQ. I've seen the NASDAQ move, 50 plus points on Netflix earnings releases. I've seen it move even more than that, obviously, on Google and Amazon and Apple. So if you are holding positions over past the 4 o'clock bell, or you're holding positions from a swing perspective in the NASDAQ, definitely be aware of that. Russell levels are a little bit further above here, 1528.20. So Russell is kind of the lagger this morning, down 0.34% in terms of just price structure wise. NASDAQ is tied down 0.36% here. Again, I don't know that there's much to take from that. Just, Russell was strong yesterday, gave some of it back, and then gapping down a little bit further this morning than the rest of the markets in terms of price structure wise. Makes sense. Russell's been weaker overall. We really need to see that come around here from a swing perspective, and the Russell start pushing up towards those $1,600 numbers that we're looking for there. Dow here, level above 27,043s. We're about 100 points off of that level at the moment. Again, I don't necessarily see it being a problem for that to get tested on the day. Keep an eye on yesterday's opening print, 26,872s. If we start to see one of these markets, reversing yesterday's moves before one of the other markets, then that's something obviously we want to pay attention to. Moving on to gold, and this is an overnight trade that I gave out to members last night here, was watching for long opportunities off 1481.20s, which traded here this morning right after the gold markets opened up here about 10 minutes into the gold market session. Lows on that move ended up coming down to 1480.60s and now has bounced about 13 points. This is $1,200 to $1,300 per contract off this 1481.20 level in gold. And I gave that out last night at 5 or 5:30, something like that, when I sent out the nightly trade plan video that goes out to members there, which you guys can get. I put a link actually in the description below here for today. You guys can get that for a $1 14-day trial. But this is similar to the crude trade, which is actually what I talked about in the video last night. Similar to the crude trade from the other week here. Similar setup. So in gold on the day, I'm watching for a move now over 1497.50s. If we can do that, then I think gold has some room to run to the upside. If not, I talked about potentially where, in that same video, I talked about where if gold breaks and what it does in that sequence of events, that we're looking at a move all the way down into 1370s in the gold market. So it's at a really crucial point here. It's got a lot of room to the upside potentially, and it's got a lot of room to the downside. And just looking for that to pick a direction. Right now it's holding support and going to watch for resistance to break in there. Next up here is crude. Crude's got a pretty big range right now, 54.01s all the way down to 52.30s here. I'm looking for these 52.30s to most likely get tested here today. We have been unable to get up to those 55.49s there. But overall, this ended up being a really good trade last week from the overnight session all the way into Friday there. So I'm going to leave crude on watch for right now. Looks to me like it wants to range bound here a little bit, probably test some lower levels, and then potentially if it can start working its way towards the upside, then I think we might be able to get a break kind of up through 53.50s, 53.60s for the move up to 55.49s to finally complete. If we really start cracking through 52.30s here, which overnight lows are 52.51s, if we really start to crack that, we've got a good opportunity of getting back down to these 51.63s. And then from there, we're looking back down towards like $50 in crude. So it's got some room to move as well. Anyways, that's what I've got here for you guys so far this morning. Nice. Jay hitting first profit target there. That did not take long at all. First profit target on that alert that was sent out. Anyways, that's what I'm watching for here today, guys. I'm going to be super patient. Like I said, I think the market can be a little bit range bound here. But I'll be back in just a few minutes to go live with everyone that's in the MLT Discord. That's where I go live for the first hour to hour and a half each day. You guys get to see me trade live, ask your questions, do all that fun stuff in the Discord. So if you guys want to join that, there is a link in the description below. Get you all the details. If you guys want my morning write-up as well as the levels and the earnings, watch list and things like that, the thoughts I'm putting together, things like the gold trade I just showed from the premium nightly videos, all of that fun stuff. There is a link in the description for that as well below. Anyways, thank you guys so much. I'll see you back in just a few minutes. Hope you guys all have a great day and take care.